I just turned this £600 car into £2,000 in just 2 hours of work. I'm not a mechanic and you don't have to be either. In this video I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Let's start with sourcing the car. There's 3 key things we're looking for. It has to have a low mileage, it has to have a good specification on it, so good features, and it has to have service history with it. The last thing we want is a car which takes a while to sell or which isn't desired at all, and we're left with a complete mess. In other words, what I like to look for is a car which will make us maximum profit for minimum work. So of course it has to be in good condition. The last thing we want is a car which is spending hours working on for little profit. I came across this example of a Vauxhall Astra. It had a pretty nice spec on it. It was the design model. It had all 4 electric windows. It had some other spec too, like half leather seats, which someone out there would enjoy. And it also had cruise control too, which is obviously a plus. Now that I had a car which I wanted to buy, I ran the checks on it. So check things like the MOT history, made sure it's not been written off, because that's one thing people often don't want to buy. A lot of beginners often buy cars that are written off from Copart or Centric or any salvage auction, and these are cars with quite a lot of work for minimum profit, especially as a beginner. Right back to the chase then. Now that I did all the checks, I made the first move. I dropped a message to the seller and asked them if I could view the car. This car was priced extremely competitively, and I knew for a fact I could sell the car for double, even triple what I was going to buy it for. So I wasted no time, headed straight to the seller and went on a train there. When I arrived at the seller, there's one thing to bear in mind which is extremely important at this stage. We're buying a car privately. There's no comebacks. If we find an issue with this car, there's nothing we can do. If the engine blows up on us, we're screwed. We can't go back to the seller. So this is one thing you have to bear in mind. When you're buying these cars privately, make sure you check the car thoroughly. And that's exactly what we did. So when I looked around the car, I checked the main things. We checked for the bodywork, we checked the engine condition, and it all seemed well and good. It was exactly as described. Apart from, of course, it did need a clean because it's extremely dirty. I had a clip here. But we paid the man his cash and headed right home. Now that we have the car, one thing I will mention, which is where all beginners go wrong when they start flipping cars, is they head to these salvage auctions or trade auctions. With these places, there is no way you can view these cars without having bought or bid on the car first. So as you can imagine, you're putting the money first before even buying the car. But in comparison to that, because I was going to see the car first, if it wasn't as described, I could walk away. But someone who's buying from these auctions, which almost always them cars require a lot of work, you wouldn't have that option. So let's get back into it. With the car back at base, there's a few things we're going to have to do before we can advertise the car for sale. A good clean on the outside being one of those, and a nice tidy up on the interior of the car. We'll be listing it for a higher price compared to others on the market, so of course we have to make the car as presentable as possible, and we have to make it look better than the ones that are already on offer. I started with giving the car a quick clean on the exterior all around. This is all done by myself. I would normally go to the local car wash and have them do it, but I like to prepare my cars the very same day, and they were unfortunate clause, and obviously this is more time consuming doing it myself. Compare me cleaning the car all around with a wash, scrub or whatever, or going to a car wash having 5 guys work on the car for just a £5. Obviously, the car wash always wins. But with that out the way, the interior also needed a clean. So I did a quick hoover. I used some interior cleaner, cleaned around any stains and whatnot. I did use a wet vac too, just to get rid of any stains on the seats. And with one final touch being, remember I said earlier, we're going to sell the car for a higher price. It has to look the part too. So I invested in a fresh set of floor mats, threw them in, and here's how it all turned out. Clear difference, we're on to our winner. We're now ready to advertise the car for sale. Remember, we're making maximum profit for minimum work. We've already completed the minimum work stage, having spent only 2 hours on the car, but preparing it to the highest level we could compared to other car flippers out there. Now for us to make maximum profit, we have to approach those higher paying customers, and we won't find these people on places like Facebook and whatnot. So with a private way of advertising my vehicles, I ended up finding a customer who came all the way from London and were willing to pay the price of one. Now that we've sold the car, let's calculate exactly how much profit we made on it. So we bought the base car for £580. There's about £100 worth of expenses for going to travel to get the car, fuel and whatnot, maybe other bits I may have missed out. We had the car serviced and that was £50 by a mobile mechanic, again, minimum work. Yes, that does include the engine oil and the oil filter. So that's about £700 on the car alone. And we sold the car for £1,700, meaning we made a total profit of around £1,000, which is extremely unheard of on a car like this. Most people struggle to make profits like this on a car such as this one here, and there's a simple reason for that. They lack a sales system. Rather than finding those higher paying customers, they end up selling their cars to those lower paying customers, those low ballers who don't appreciate the car they're offering. Whereas with us, we have those customers who appreciate the service we bring and are willing to pay those higher prices. With that being said, then, if you're looking to get started with car flipping, but you're not sure exactly how to get started, what cars to buy, or how to set higher paying customers, or whatever it may be, like inspecting a car, you can always book a call with the link in the description and talk to me one-to-one. And perhaps it could be worth you joining my one-to-one mentorship program where you can work with me. I'll help you start your car flipping journey in attracting those higher paying customers for minimum work required. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.